Oh, Michigan State almost came back. How cute. Losing to Oregon is still crazy though. I mean, Oregon winning is still, yeah, losing to Oregon is crazy.
Bless your heart.
Thanks. Mm, did you just post on? Oop. Okay. Why did you make? Yeah.
Dude, that I love making that face so much. It's just like it's just funny.
Please.
Making the light skin face as someone who's not light skinned is just like it's just peak comedy to me.
LOLs. I love all the fonts that I love that Instagram decided to update their fonts. It's my favorite thing now. Also, I figure I know this I put that we would talk about UCLA on here. I figured maybe we talk about them first. Since we have a lot to get to with
Yeah,
the
we can.
WNBA.
We can.
And not we don't need to talk about them too much, but
So is the order UCLA, unrivaled, and then free agency?
Free off season, whatever.
do we
Because
really
there's a
need to
lot.
talk about Unrivaled? Because I feel like the shit we talked about last week kind of still apply.
Yeah, we
I'm
can.
on.
We can.
We can go straight from UCLA to.
Actually, no, because I need to actually repeat what I said last week.
You need to whack somebody.
Um,
We can.
yeah.
All right. Well,
We can slide that in there real quick, but it ain't gonna. We could touch on it. It ain't got to be much.
We ain't got too much to we ain't got to do too much there. Um, being logged into like more than one Instagram is so overstimulating. I was thinking about. That's what I was thinking about. Oh, oh, okay. Hi. Hi. Yeah. Are you being a dad right now? You
no,
know we can hear you.
she sent me a video of this nigga. I'm not on FaceTime.
You know we can hear you though, right? Like the internet. This is
Yeah,
the internet
the
can
the
hear
world can hear you.
Oh, the live has started. I mean, I ain't Drake. It's just it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That nigga done been out. He don't watch the basketball game with me.
you outside. All right.
All right. So, hello. My name.
Sorry.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pull Up Three. I am Paragon Don,
I'm Jamae.
And I'm Jay Trent.
and today we will be talking about some college stuff, and by that I mean it is in all lowercase because it will not be long. And then free agency in all caps because, dear Lord, a lot of stuff has moved. Um, so I'm pretty sure that as college stuff is highlighted by UCLA. So if one of you all would like to kick that little baby off,
Yes. So UCLA, they are currently, let me see where we are in the season right now.
We got what, 4 weeks left?
Yeah, and they are 21-0 after defeating my beloved Terps on Sunday. Um, and it's tough to take the 1 seed. Like, you can't take the 1 seed away from an undefeated team. Is UCLA the best team in the country right now?
You know, I feel like I started out like not wanting to believe in them. Um, and I usually don't believe in them. Well, I ain't gonna say I don't believe in them, but my hesitation is usually UCLA sometimes does this thing where they like forget who they are. At least in previous seasons, they forget like what their identity is, what's their bread and butter, what's has gotten them this far. Um, and in that first half of that Maryland game, I really wish Cheyenne Sellers was available. I mean, I wish Bree Daniels was also available, but you know, Cheyenne Sellers, I feel like it would have been a different game. But that first half, Maryland was keeping it close, and I was like, okay, like we'll see if UCLA folks. Um, and I feel like they came back out and they remembered exactly who they were, and they were like, yeah, actually, we're not losing. Like this is Lauren Betts. This is Lauren Betts' team. We move as she moves. I think she was what 14 or 15 from the floor. Um, and I was like, oh, well, Corey seems to have that under control. So, I feel like they might be the best team in the country. I don't. There's really nothing you can do with Lauren Betts. Like there are some questions to me still a little bit with their guard play, but like there's nothing you can do with Lauren Betts. And she and it's like she knows it too. Like I feel like pre last year she was kind of like, all right, I'm kind of getting into something. I know I could do a little something, but like now she like gets the ball and she's like, I'm gonna make my move. I don't really care who behind me, who in front of me, who next to me. You could foul me. I'm gonna just do it. Like y'all got it. Um, and going 14 for 15 from the line is incredible. And I don't even know if she missed a free throw. So like yeah, they have to be the favorite, I think. It's really hard. Obviously, like I think we talked about like 2 weeks ago, South Carolina is still a team that I would never bet against. But
Mm,
at this point, I think like it has to be UCLA. Like they have to be the favorite.
yeah. Um, 33-7 for Lauren Betts in that game. She is currently averaging 21 points, 9.9 boards, and 3 blocks per game, shooting 64% from the field on 14 attempts. Like, she's been the most dominant post scorer in the country this season. I think that's fair to say. And I would love for UCLA, South Carolina to be the title game because I think that would be an interesting test just to see what they come out and what they look like. Um, how do you feel about how Kiki Rice has played this year?
She's the one that I always feel like I have concerns about. Cause she does this thing, at least last season she would do this thing where she felt like she had to take over the game. And I'm like, girl, you don't have to do that. Like I need you to know who's on the floor with you because you ain't never gotta do that. Maybe 2 years ago you might have had to do that, but you ain't never gotta do that. Um, and I think she recognizes that now. I think she's like, okay, I know I can do what I me giving the ball up and me feeding Lauren and me, getting Duga Leach the ball or London or whoever, it feels more like I giving the ball up or making the right play is beneficial to me. You know what I'm saying? That helps me too, even if Mike, and I don't even know if she's really like a stats driven person, but I think she's kind of reeled that in a little bit, and I think it's helped them a lot. As I feel like her decision making has gotten better too. Like even um fouling and things like that. I think she's definitely matured a bit, I think. Which I think is going to be important for them down the stretch.
Yeah, I think
So,
offensively, I was say, I think offensively, as long as she, like you said, as long as she's not doing too much, as long as she like plays under control, I think they're in good shape.
so something I wanted to mention to Jermaine's point that it seems like Lauren knows that she's that girl now. Um, I think one of the biggest critiques that we like talked about them, especially in the tournament, like when they lost to LSU, uh, like Jermaine said, it seemed like they got away from what they are. In that game, four people took more shot attempts than her. She took nine. Somebody took 17, somebody took 11, somebody took 13, another person took 11. And then over the course of that season, three people took more field goal attempts than her uh, for the season. This year, she is almost over 100 field goal attempts over the next person, which is London Jones. So she shot 254 shots. London Jones has shot 156. So she has definitely cemented herself this year as like now this is my show actually. Um she's only had one game where sorry, she's had three games where she shot under 10 shot attempts, but they of course they won those, so it didn't really matter. Most of those they won by like 40. Besides the South Carolina game. Um, yeah, and her field goal percentage is crazy. Like she just does not miss. So yeah, it's hard to bet against South Carolina on a game-to-game basis. It's kind of like the Chiefs. It's like no matter how they look, it's
You're
like
not slick, by the way.
I don't like them that much to be trying to be slick.
Boo.
I don't like them that much. Now, if I was at the Celtics, I'd have been like, all right, you kind of. But yeah, it's just like or the Tom Brady. It's like, dang, even if these niggas look kind of weird, it's like, but it's Tom Brady over there. But yeah, you see, if I feel like if anyone is going to beat them, it would be UCLA. And the fact that
Yeah,
Lauren Betts is only a
yeah, that's fair.
junior, like, dear heavens.
I think we're gonna really see something when they play USC in a couple of weeks because I mean I believe in Lauren Betts as a defender. Um, but it's Juju as an offensive talent. And I feel like that's one of those games where I feel like who's the girl is really gonna show up, right? And I feel like although I do think Lauren is the girl, I don't think she's necessarily one of those players that's gonna force it. But Kiki might be. And that's where she concerns me. And so given their strength of schedule, that's kind of why I've been kind of like, y'all need to show me something before I really believe in you. I think Lauren Betts can take y'all really far, but what are you gonna do when that game get tight? You know what I'm saying? Or if the other team guard really showing you up, like what are you gonna do? And so that to me, the USC, I'm not even really sure that I think USC will actually beat them, but I do think USC is also a team that like never goes away. And so I
Mm.
think that'll be like a really important game to actually see like the maturity of UCLA.
Yeah, if I look at people right now, I'm picking UCLA to win that game still. But I agree that that's kind of the game I'm waiting for to to kind of gauge where they at. And it's funny to say I want to gauge where they at about a team that's undefeated, but it feels like you kind of. I like to see these games against high level competition just to kind of see where their head is at. So I think that'd be important for them.
Yeah, I think another underrated thing is what teams do when games get close. Like if you're blowing at your competition all the time, it's like, yeah, you're blowing at your competition all the time, but it's like also that means you don't have the reps for close games. So like Jermaine said, like what are you gonna do when this happens? And in this winning streak, they have rarely played anybody close, which is great. Like dominance is important, but of course in the tournament, it's very rare you see somebody just blowing somebody out all the way through. And it's like one of them games gonna have to be down the last minute. And it's like, what are we doing when it gets there? Who are we going to? What are the actions we're running? Are you prepared mentally for that?
So yeah, because that Sweet 16, Elite Eight, you might get through the first two rounds, especially being like a one seed. It should be easy. But when you get to the Sweet 16, what you gonna do? Because you know that these people are gonna show up and play their best game, you know? So we'll see. We'll see. Um, the only other thing I wanted to talk about was this is like very briefly. I think they did, was it the Athletic that came out with like the All Americans list?
Mm.
Um, and they had Lauren Betts, Juju, Hannah, Paige, Anissa Morrow. And I think it was Yana who tweeted that Tanaya Latson should be on the list. And so I'm curious if y'all agree with that sentiment. And if you do, who do you think is removed?
Give me the names again.
Hannah, Paige, Juju, Lauren, Anissa Morrow.
Mm.
I do not have enough knowledge to answer this question in good faith.
I
So I will be
I
amiss.
love I love Tanaya Latson, y'all. Like she's been one of my favorite players to watch this season. Um, I don't know if I can get there. I
Now, my like mild hot take is that like Paige might have to sit. Paige might have to sit this one out. And I don't want to say that she's like a legacy bid because she's obviously putting up what 20 and let me look at her stats really quick. And she's playing really well. So I'm not saying it to say that like she's ass. Um, but she's averaging 19, 4, and 4 on 50% shooting. Or 55, almost 55%. Tanaya Latson is 26 and a half, 4 on almost 50%. UConn
See,
obviously has the better record,
yeah,
but also they're in the Big East. So I can't, like to some extent, I
yeah.
don't I
I
don't
will
know.
I will say if you're making the case for Tanaya to be there, it has to be overpaid to me. Like if in out of those five, she has to be the one.
Yes. That's the thing that I was thinking. I mean, because at first I was like, okay, maybe it's Alyssa Morrow, but then I was like, I honestly already feel like Alyssa Morrow is not getting enough credit for what she's doing for
She's
LSU. So she really can't be the one that sits down. So it has to be Paige, but also it's like you can't like you know what I'm saying? You can't really be like not Paige. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, and I feel like that's what makes it difficult because yeah, and it doesn't have, like all these other teams. LSU is 21-1.
yeah, look,
Um,
Notre Dame has only lost 2 games.
yeah.
UCLA
And
undefeated.
Florida State is 17-4, but also they're Florida State and they're in the ACC.
This is true.
But yeah, it makes it difficult. For now I'll say those are the right five, and I can't get to tonight yet. But I would love to see her.
I feel like the fact that we're considering taking a page out makes me kind of, not even kind of, it makes me question. I've seen people saying that like it's like a three-way race for like I don't know if it's player of the year or whatever between
Yeah,
like
that's
her,
clearly
oh, between like her, Hannah, and Juju, and I'm just like, it doesn't
no.
really.
The answer is Lauren Betts. If Lauren Betts actually doesn't win National Player of the Year, she actually should go like Court Close need to get up there and she need to say something on her behalf because that's her award to lose. Like I really can't. And Hannah is like it's like Lauren, then Hannah. Everybody else,
Mhm.
good luck. But those two are like, if Lauren doesn't win and you pick Hannah, I kind of see it, but you still kind of wilding, but I see it. Yeah. If anybody other than one of them two win, I'm side eyeing because
Yeah, yeah, I feel like it has to be Lauren Betts to this point. I know that people like the flashy stuff from the guards, which is why guards tend to be favorites for stuff like this. But Lauren Betts is just like she's averaging 20 and damn near 20 and 10 with 3 blocks. Like what can you do? And her team has not lost a game.
and it's because of her. It's not even like, you know what I'm saying, she's riding the wave. She she is putting up the numbers to win them the game. Like there's no question about that. And I feel like the only other I mean, Hannah's doing that too, right? And I too, and it's Hannah's interesting too because I think Notre Dame, what they've played 20 games so far, and I think they've only played one where the whole team was healthy, or maybe the last like three, the whole team has been healthy. So like to me, that's like the non-conference that they had. Absolutely, I get your vibes, but everybody else,
Yeah, like I
I
feel
thought
like
you was gonna say the classic, sorry, sister.
it is.
nah,
I mean,
like I feel
it's really a sorry sisters
nah,
moment.
and
I don't.
the thing is, and Juju and Paige and Anita Morrow have been having, amazing seasons for what it's worth. But to me, it feels like Lauren Betts should take it here.
Yeah. Okay. So Lauren is averaging 21 9.9 to 65%. Hannah is averaging 25, 6 rebounds, 3 assists on almost 50% shooting. And I'm sure she's averaging like, where's her block? Where's her steals? 4
Her
steals a
average,
game. Like,
her averaging 6 rebounds, and she like 4'10" is insane.
literally. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like Hannah, I could understand. She in like almost 2 threes a game. She's shooting almost 50% from the floor. Like, I can understand Hannah. But anybody else, like, other than Lauren, I don't want to hear it. I ain't gonna lie, I
Yeah,
don't want to hear
I'm
it.
with that.
So, Jamae, would you like to whack them and unravel before we get into free agency?
Oh, all I'm gonna say is that Stewie still stinks. And it's incredibly nasty that your team is 0-4. 0-4. You have not won a single game. This is embarrassing me. I'm embarrassed for you. Everybody else, everybody else has won a game. So y'all at least tried something. Y'all did something. Um,
The
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 fact that the
Phantom
Phantom
the
won the
fan
game,
no the Phantom getting their win, the Phantom getting their win off the backs of my franchise center Brittany Griner. I am proud of them. Okay, I'm proud of them. See, she wasn't my center when they won, but now she's on my team. So now I'm planting my flag for I don't know what the Phantom little phrase is. I
Ghost Gang.
might have oh
it's
well
what?
Not good. It's not good.
Ghost
Everybody.
Gang?
Ghost Gang.
Mm,
come down. But but uh
Mario Party groups.
but but I'm here for BG, and she played her ass off in that game that they won. She was absolutely dominant in the post. So
She for the people who did not watch, she put up 29 and 9 and was 14 for 18 from the floor.
And how many minutes?
yes,
15 minutes.
Yes, yes. Because
Incredible.
yeah.
anytime I see any of them put up like 20 plus, knowing they play less than like 15 minutes is really crazy. And I know like the game is faster and it's less, I mean, it's more spacing or whatever, but still, like more points than minutes played is crazy.
Also, Napheesa Collier averaging 28 and a half. I mean, she's playing them like 18 minutes, but still 28 and a half and 13 rebounds.
And there
I
are
Y'all are, hold on. I just need to say, y'all are still wrong. Like, let's stop the fucking Napheesa Collier is one, she's the best player in the league. Let's stop that. Y'all ain't got to do that. She might be the best player in our rival right now, but she is not the best player in the world. Let's stop. Let's stop us right there. Y'all need to wait until
She was the best
October
player in the
20.
country when Asia went to Paris.
Exactly. But my sister is back in the States. So I don't want to hear it no more. I don't want to hear no more. She's playing incredible basketball. Um, she's playing incredible basketball. Her little clip, I watched a little clip with her in her Taylor Rooks interview, and she was talking about how she was a sore loser and she was using that game as fuel. And I was like, I love that for you. You're still not the number one girl, but I love that for you. It's showing, you know what I'm saying? You really are getting better. Like I appreciate that about you. I love that for you. Not the number one girl though. And I hate that y'all do this. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't even relish in the fact that Napheesa Collier is cooking bitches through like twice a week. I can't enjoy it because somebody got to get on the internet and say Napheesa Collier the best basketball player in the world. Nobody better than her. Stop. Because it is. And we haven't even gotten to the season where we seeing the actual best talent in the world. So I need y'all to just pump the brakes a little, just a little. And y'all can talk to me about that October 2025, where you can have a different conversation. Probably won't, but maybe we can. Maybe I'll entertain it then. Maybe.
yeah, I think as far as the best player in the world thing, I think Fee should feel like she is. Like I feel like you should be able to use that as a player to motivate you. You should feel like even if you are playing against the Aces, you should feel like I'm still the best player on the floor. Like you're supposed to think that. And it's funny that I do think that she's been unquestionably the best player in Unrivaled. She is also one of two players to have scored 100 total points so far. Am I doing that right?
Yes. It's only her
One
and
of
Kayla
two.
McBride.
The
So
other is Kayla McBride for the Las Vegas Laces. And she has been doing her thing, making every jumper, unfortunately, against my vinyl.
that
But
that fucking spin move hurt me so bad. I said, "Run away from Alyssa Thomas, please." She's taking
yeah,
her
it
shit.
just yeah, I owe the Laces an apology. Like I don't know if y'all saw the week one rankings, but I was wrong. I've never been like I've been wrong about a lot. I don't know if I've ever been that wrong. Like I completely miscalculated what AT would look like in a 3v3 setting. Like she has been incredible. This team has just been on another level, and Jackie Young has yet to touch the floor.
I
And they even
believed.
won without AT. That's the thing that got me, that gagged me a bit. Kayla McBride, I owe you an apology. Because 2 years ago I said, why the fuck would y'all pay Kayla McBride? And ever since I said that, she been showing me why y'all paying her. I I have to respect K-Mac. I have to respect her going forward. No notes. No notes.
I believed from in the Laces from the start, but what I was very wrong about is the mist. But Jamae already whacked the mist, so I don't have anything to say. I felt like I was when you have Stewie and whoever else, it just seems like, yeah, this is gonna be good, and it just hasn't been. So
You got Stewie. You got not only Stewie, you got Jewell Lloyd, Dejanay Carrington, and Rakia fucking Jackson. How you're losing is feel handy. You're never getting a head coaching job because you're cooked. You're cooked. He better hope these motherfuckers win a game because his PR is gonna hit the dirt. It's gonna hit the dirt because
that nigga is Timu Daraham.
that might be disrespectful to Darvin Ham at this point. Because hold on, this is crazy. Anyway, shout out to Vinyl though. I'll take the 2-2. Especially since it was the top teams, the Lunar Owls and the Laces. I'll take 2-2. Um, uh, Arika and Ryan, please never play like that ever again. Thank you. Everybody else.
Especially, especially not at the same time. Like I need one of y'all to be making shots, at least one. And we were without De'Erica Hamby. And I said earlier, I felt like De'Erica was the key to the Vinyl potentially being a top team. They needed a they needed a big with the type of skill set that you can get from a player like De'Erica Hamby. So they they were it was rough for them without her. Like I know that they tried to play small for stretches. They started with um Aaliyah with Arike and Ryan. And that works if your perimeter players can make shots, and they could not. So
Yeah.
hopefully hopefully tomorrow uh or this weekend, I don't know when the the Vinyl play again. It'll look better for them.
We play
As long as
Saturday.
it's not against the Laces.
Well, the next two are Mist, and then we play the Lunar Owls again.
Okay.
And too, like to the De'Erica point, I feel like the game would have turned out differently had we had De'Erica. Um, but I still am like really proud of how Aaliyah played. Because she played really well. Because I was kind of, I mean, I know she could defend, but I was like really scared that Fee was like really gonna cook her bad. But she bad. Like I was like, okay, like you could do this. You could do this for 30 minutes. I believe in you. Um, But yeah, it just really hurt us that we couldn't hit shots. So, that's something we'll clean up. We'll figure that out. Everybody else? Rose? We already kind of talked about them. Azare Stevens, you move me a bit. Lexi Hull got, after she didn't get no minutes, she became player of the game.
Yeah, she had a game. She did. She was great in that game.
She did really well. So, people the girls are settling in. It's cool. Yeah, I don't have anything on us on Arrival though. I just needed to point out that the Miss still stink. We're going into week 3.
Yeah, we got a lot to get to.
Free agency.
Do we go in order of
Yeah,
like
so
the
I actually have the transactions pulled up uh via
Okay.
via across the timeline.
Okay.
So
Shout out to Across the Timeline.
Yeah, our
yes,
favorite
they are
website.
they are wonderful. They are wonderful. Okay, so first reported deal here. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. On January 26th,
You
the
wanna
Seattle
you wanna
Storm.
pull it up?
Oh, oh, I can. Well, no, it's okay. We can just talk about it.
That's
But it says the Seattle Storm are trading. Okay. Matter of fact, I think I should. Give me a second.
take your time, Pastor.
I think it was on Instagram, never mind. I was saying you can look at the graphics, but
Oh,
ESPN,
let me do that.
ESPN pissed me off. And while he pulling that up, y'all are so fucking lazy. I have never, and this is kind of part of the problem we talked about last week of journalists being so worried about putting shit out first that they almost have to half-ass things to get it right. Um, and I hate it. I hate it. You know what I'm saying? You waiting 2 hours, 30 minutes, whatever time it's gonna take for you to Photoshop Yueru in a Seattle Storm jersey. The news is still gonna be there. It's still gonna be popping. People still gonna be talking about it. It's still a blockbuster trade. Y'all could have fixed that. Y'all could have did that. And then the Alyssa Thomas trade. Well, you got BG, DT, Ka, and Cloud all in a photo. When we heard 2 weeks ago that BG was going to free agency and Diana Taurasi was retiring, why would you have at the bare minimum? At the bare minimum, why would you have both of them in the back of the photo? Hello? Like, just lazy. And then when people call you out about it, you change the caption. We can see you. Like, do you know it says edited? We can see you. Was Slam? Not was I mean W Slam for the people who are not on Twitter. Using Stephanie Talbot's body to put KP in a Sparks
No,
shirt?
no, no, wait. I'm not gonna lie. That was like a hey, we've got to do this real quick.
I feel
Um,
like whoever graphic designer that was, they said, you put this graphic out by tonight or you're fired. And they said, I need a body right now. And Stephanie Talbot was she was the closest one.
that is insane. That's insane. Especially since like this shit was being rumored. Like
Yeah.
it's not like it really came out of left field. Like Annie wasn't Annie like reporting it? Like
Mhm.
there was whispers on it. Annie don't be wrong. Sometimes she be saying stuff that's a little crazy. But she don't usually be wrong. So the fact that y'all didn't even have a little pre-planned graphic just in case this thing happened, What are y'all doing? ESPN, you are a billion-dollar company. Stop being embarrassing, please.
All right. So what we have, these are the details of the trade. The Las Vegas Aces received Jewell Lloyd and the 13th pick in the draft. The LA Sparks have received Kelsey Plum and the ninth pick in this year's draft. And the Seattle Storm received Yueru and the number 2 pick in the 2025 draft.
Okay. So what was everybody's like first reaction?
The first reaction was the Sparks gave up the number 2 pick. I feel like that was the biggest shock to me. Now I remember like when the trade was first rumored, when Annie first put out her article, um, my thought was, how do the Sparks get in on this? Because I was like, do they give up the second pick? And they ended up doing it. Now, it's interesting to me because my thought about it, you remember when we talked about the um the Sparks last year, and we talked about how Kurt Miller kind of had a short leash on the young players.
Mm-hmm.
How it felt like there was a push to play the veterans more because they were trying to win games, and young players usually don't know how to close games.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like, and I said then, when do you accept that this team isn't good enough and you have to rebuild? This was the Sparks' way of saying, yeah, we're not rebuilding. This was their way of saying, oh well, we can have the number 2 pick in this draft, or we can have an all WNBA caliber guard on our roster tomorrow. And they said, give me the latter. Let's go out here and win some games. Because a lot of time, especially when it comes to the WNBA, you don't have you don't get a long runway when it comes to building up your roster. Like, we're going into the 2025 season. In the 2024 season, this past season, the 2024, what, the fourth seed? The fourth seed was the 4-5 was the Storm and the Aces. In 2023, the 4-5 matchup was the Dream against the Wings. You see how quickly things can change? This was the Aces won the championship and were in the 4-5 the next season. So they say, if I ain't got to hang around in the cellar for too long, I'm not going to. Any move can put us in position to compete as soon as possible. And that's what the Sparks are attempting to do with this trade.
For me, my first reaction to this was, I cannot believe we upgraded. Um, and again, I know I have had my fair share of KP slander, but at the same time, my girl has done a lot for this organization. She was the first domino to fall for us to be able to have the things that we have. Like, she may not have been overall the player that was expected her to come out of college with, but she's still pretty damn good, especially coming off of a Achilles injury. Like, those are crazy. So I will absolutely miss her. Now, I will absolutely appreciate Jewell Lloyd while she's here. Also, the fact that we got a pick in a draft that we were not supposed to have a pick in due to reasons is crazy. So I was very happy. Um, I think in a league like this, it's funny because I think for most of the time, I felt like I don't know why the Sparks would be in such a rush to get better. But I think Jay's point does make a lot of sense. And realistically, it's really like that Family Guy skit that's like, would you rather a boat or a mystery box? And Peter was like, well, the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. And it's like, why draft someone who might become an all W guard when I could just get an all W guard now? And because the league is only like if it was 30 teams like the NBA is, I would say you probably need to wait on it and just let your young team build itself up and kind of go from there. But like it's 13 teams. Like anybody can be every game is basically competitive for the most part. Um, and
Mhm.
any team can make way to get better at any time. And like even if the Sparks may not be championship caliber this year, we get a healthy Cameron Brink season, great Rakia season, them under De'Erica and Kelsey, and then those two improve. Who's to say next season that team isn't a championship caliber team? Like things could just change. Like Jay said, things could just change so fast. So I feel like I understand a lot more how it's gonna go. Right now, my thoughts are kind of with Seattle because I feel like what they do can potentially change the whole direction of how the draft goes for everybody else. Um, because they do take Olivia, I feel like Kiki is the next player available, but I don't think Chicago needs to draft her because they already have Angel and Camilla, and it just seems like it'd be a lot of overlap. Um, although Kiki is really good, but it's like there's just a lot of overlap if you're really committed to Angel and Camilla. So then, I mean, that's when I sent y'all the hear me out trade. You send that little baby somewhere. It don't even got to be Connecticut. But I feel like if Connecticut is really blowing it up, which it looks like they are, if they could throw some stuff Chicago's way and get that number 3 pick, and then you have uh Dejanay and Kiki and Marina for a couple years and like just maybe tank for like a year and just be the team that takes like bad picks or bad contracts for some stuff. Connecticut could be right back to where they always end up getting to in a year because Connecticut does not stay down for long. Like that is a team who is basically in the hunt for a championship, no matter what type of roster they have. So I don't know. It's Seattle has the most interesting opportunity to me because they also could just take Kiki themselves. And I mean, then you have Skylar, NECA, Jordan Horston, Kiki, Ezzy. NECA may only have like I don't know how many years she plans on playing or staying in Seattle, but then Kiki learning under NECA is like insane. Um, so that's always an option. But I mean, Olivia learning under Skylar is also insane. So yeah, I don't know. This is one of the crazier WNBA trades I can think of in a minute because it just affects so much stuff.
I feel like this is the first time I've seen a trade where I feel like it kind of worked out for everybody. Do I think the Aces might have got away with a little bit? Yes. And they did it without having a GM. I think everybody needs to remember that. They don't have nobody on payroll over there. So how they got on the phone and said, yeah, let's send Jewell over here. Y'all can figure the rest of it out. Is wild to me.
I think Asia made the trade.
Look, somebody is on the phone over there because that's insane. But I do think Jay, you bring up an interesting point of like how quickly things can change because I feel like obviously I think this puts the Aces back. I mean, the Aces were never out of contention, but like this definitely feels more like a okay, like we could seriously run this back, assuming everybody's healthy. And I don't even know if it's really healthy in the same way because even if Jackie comes back and she did exactly what she did this past season, which we pray to God she don't, but if she does, I still think like having Jewell puts them in a better position um, than they would have been in last year. So you know what I'm saying? You was the 4 seed this past season. You could still be a 4 seed, which could still lead you to a championship. So that's not even a bad thing. But I think the fun thing for the Sparks and the Storm, honestly, I feel like this pick keeps the Storm in like the fifth or sixth seed baby spot. Like it kind of in the standings. Like I don't feel like it hurts them, especially if they can like re-sign Sammy. Um, yeah, especially they can like re-sign Sammy Wickham and maybe like get another backup big. Since I don't think they're bringing back Mercedes Russell. I feel like that kind of keeps them where they at, so it gives them opportunity to get older and still kind of be good, but also kind of have their youth movement a little bit because you still got Ezzy, you still got Jordan, whoever you take at number 2, which personally I would take Olivia Miles, but you know, what do I know? Um, So I think that's it. That was, I think. Oh wait, they don't even need a backup because they got Yueru. That is such an underrated. Like I don't think people are talking about like how crazy that's gonna be. Like the last time Yueru and NECA played together, she didn't really play, but like the leap she took last season, and she didn't even play that many minutes last season. Like Seattle really got, and Yueru was only like maybe 22, maybe 21. I don't think she's that old. Like, they got a whole little thing happening there that I think is gonna shock some people. So I think they did really good, especially getting the second pick. The Sparks are funny to me. But also they really had nowhere to go but up. Like you were 11 seed, so like you obviously got better. It don't really matter who you bring back. You got Kelsey Plum now. So you obviously we can throw y'all an eighth seed. Are you gonna be that good? Maybe not, but y'all be fun and competitive. So y'all could be an eighth seed, so you want to be bottom of the barrel. And I do think it gives you an opportunity to really develop Cam and Rakia. Um, whether that's them two as a duo or playing off of the vets that they get, like that's a really like fun. I don't know. I feel like this is the one of the first times I really seen a trade that I was like, this really worked out for everybody involved. Like, I don't really feel like anybody took an L. And then usually somebody takes an L, but I don't feel that way. And it was really throwing me off when like it came out and everybody was like, this is so bad. Why would Seattle agree with this? Or why would LA agree to this? And I'm like, because now all of these teams are competitive. Like they all looked crazy last season. Um, Now they probably won't. So yeah, I like it.
So I didn't talk about the Aces at all. But yeah, I mean, they clearly got better from this trade. I think um being able to replace KP with Jewell, I think this is kind of the ideal role for Jewell. Like her and KP are not the same player, but there are there are similar aspects to their game, but they're not the same player.
Kind of
I
variants. They kind of variants.
yeah yeah they but I don't think they're the same player. I think this is a great spot for Jewell to be in. I'm interested to see how Jewell and Asia play off each other. How often how often does Jewell play with Chelsea, and how much do they have her off the ball, or do they run a high screen and roll? Do they have point Asia bring the ball up, let Jewell set her a screen and flare out to the wing while Asia is driving? Like there's a lot that they can do here.
Love options.
As far as Seattle, I'm glad Jermaine talked about the the Lee Yueru pickup because I think that's really interesting for them. And I know that Nneka is a free agent and she technically has not come to an agreement to stay in Seattle yet. I think she will. But that makes it interesting because having another developmental big behind Izzy Mabagor, who's already shown that she can be dominant when she's aggressive on offense and is one of the best rim protectors in the league as well. Um,
Deploy on the way. Seattle, don't piss me off this time. Thank you.
last year should have been the year, but this we coming forward again this year. Coming forward again. I think the number two pick for Seattle is where things get interesting for me. And not just as it relates to them, but as it relates to the rest of the draft, which I know we're gonna have to get to the other moves because there's a lot to talk about here. But Seattle, like there's a lot here. I don't know what they do. I would assume that they take Olivia Miles if she's there.
You think Dallas will take Olivia?
No, Seattle.
No, I mean you saying if she's there.
No, I'm
They
saying
take.
if she's there, like if she declares is what I mean.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I heard her say,
But
because Dallas taking Olivia could be interesting. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
but yeah, that could I would assume that Seattle to if but if they take see, I don't know. We don't even know who the draft pool is gonna be yet. But there's a lot of variables to look at there. Which is why we haven't even gotten into what the Sparks could do at 9 or what the Aces could do at 13, because we don't even know how the draft is gonna shake out.
Because they could get, yeah, we're going to come back to that. We're actually going to pin that and we're going to come back to that because, yeah, yeah, that's
Right,
next.
that's cool. Let's see. Let's
The
pull up the
rare
next one.
win-win-win trade.
Let me pull up the next trade.
I this free agency, and it's like not even really like free. It didn't even really start yet because people haven't even signed shit. But like, I've been flabbergasted for like the last 3 days.
This is um this is a lot. All right. So Let me pull up the next transaction here. The next trade, the Phoenix Mercury receive Alyssa Thomas and Ty Harris.
First of
And
all, hold on. I can't even really fucking focus because why the fuck is Veronica Burton on the picture? She is not in. Oh my god. Oh,
at Phoenix Mercury, y'all get this together.
this is your team. This is the team you
Like
cover.
y'all had one job. Y'all had one job. I will find another picture. But
I cannot
the
believe they
Phoenix
did this. This is.
the
I'm sorry.
Phoenix
Go
Mer
ahead.
the Phoenix Mercury will get Alyssa Thomas and Ty Harris, and the Connecticut Sun will receive Natasha Cloud, Rebecca Allen, and the number 12 overall pick in the draft this year.
Connecticut got fleeced. I'm sorry. How the fuck did they get Ty Harris?
Yeah,
How did they get Ty Harris? I'm happy. Well, am I? Well, I'm not gonna actually slander because I really wanted to be nasty today, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna simply say how I'm happy for Ty Harris though. I'm happy for AT. You know, they got the Phoenix lost the point guard, kept a point guard. Sorry to them girls. Very deep sorries to them girls.
yeah, so this is excellent for Phoenix. That's the first takeaway for me is this is there's not much more that you can ask for because especially when you think about Nate Tippett's system and the way that the Mercury played last year, where Natasha Cloud was handling the ball on offense and was defending power forwards on defense. Now you got Alyssa Thomas who does that anyway, and also does that at a level better than anyone in the league, probably. When it,
She literally is doing like she literally replaced Natasha Cloud. It's like the perfect fit. Like I'm gonna guard your best defender, and I actually can pass. And there are all shooters around me. Like again, how did you get Ty Harris? Because now she has no choice but to shoot. She has no choice.
Something that I seen on, I think Nikai said this, but an underrated part is that uh, Kai was a really good cutter in Chicago, and I don't think that was fully utilized last year because it wasn't really anyone to like deliver it to her the same way Sloot and Candace Parker, especially Candace Parker because she operated in like the high post. But like Alyssa Thomas gonna get her that ball. She if Kai cuts and Alyssa Thomas has it, that ball is getting the Kai. So I can imagine her having the best year she's ever had because this will probably be the easiest she's ever scored. And like she had an immaculate, she had her best year ever last year. So uh, I mean, to me, I think Jay, you might have texted us this, but signing trades are never good for the team that is signing and
yeah,
trading their player away anyway. Um, to Jermaine's point, I don't know how Ty Harris got involved in this either, but for Connecticut to at least get like a pick back, I think is good. I can imagine At least if I was Connecticut, Natasha Cloud and Rebecca Allen are probably getting sent away somewhere on draft night. It just depends on who won them.
See, the thing about that is, I don't know where Connecticut goes from here. And it was funny because yesterday, my first thought was I was gonna I was gonna have like a little spiel about how they could, somehow get a semblance of a competitive team, but that was really
Before,
hinging on them keeping Bree Jones, where so it was a long shot then and it's impossible now. So I don't know what they look to do. I would assume that they look to move Natasha Cloud and Rebecca Allen asked out and was moved to Phoenix just for her to be moved back in a
Silly ass games, silly
yeah.
ass prizes. Because why did you X out of that organization? Ruining their opportunities. And now look at you. But you know what?
Yeah.
She might be cool with the Belgian coach. So maybe she
Oh, could
won.
be. Could be. Could be.
Maybe she won. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think I have no clue what the direction is for Connecticut now.
to me,
Like like
I
they
think.
like I
Oh, go ahead.
I
My bad.
felt like them blowing it up was coming, but now that it's here, I don't know what it looks like. Like I don't know what the plan is. Do they just did they just give Dejanay a blank check and say we'll we'll sign you for however much you want and just sit tight until next year when everybody's a free agent or what?
I think. I mean, the only thing about Connecticut that I think that's going to be kind of hard is that because they don't have the facilities like everyone wants. It's like, yeah, we have money to sign whatever free agent we want, but is a free agent going to want to come here and get their practice interrupted by a 3-year-old's birthday party?
Okay, hold on, because I feel like the girls have been, Connecticut has been really getting whacked like for the last week about not having no facilities. But half of these people in here ain't got like most of y'all don't know what it's like to live nicely. Now, Natasha, you do, because you're coming off something nice. But most of y'all don't know what it's like to live nicely. So like, I really don't think that's as much of a concern as people are making it. I just think that like the appeal maybe before was like, okay, you can sit down and we could win some games, even though y'all in the middle of nowhere. But now y'all in the middle of nowhere and y'all might not win no games. And that is kind of bad vibes. That's
Yeah.
bad vibes. So to that point, I think they might struggle. But then again, like I feel like the new coach thing kind of makes them intriguing a bit. Like since they've made some like shifts in their front office and to their coaching staff, I feel like that kind of makes them interesting. Um, and I do think it makes them fun too because he kind of it's kind of a blank slate for them now. Like I can just do whatever. They can kind of do whatever they want and they're not like carrying over what they had in previous seasons, besides like, I mean, Marina and Dejanay, but like it's two of y'all. We can change the system. It'll be okay. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But I just wanted to say that because I feel like a lot of people have been making that point, and it's like I think people just wouldn't want to go there because they stink, not because it's not
Mm,
nice. It's probably nicer than what some of these other people actually have right now. So even though it's not their own, but continue.
I guess the only reason why I feel like that, like, obviously, like, everybody deals with shit. Like, people talk about people going to Chicago, and Chicago, I'm sure, got worse shit than Connecticut do. And like, I think last year is when we looked at the list of who had their own shit and who didn't. Um, but yeah, you made a good point. Connecticut being in the middle of nowhere on top of not having things kind of hurts on top of potentially being bad. I mean, Dallas, you're in Dallas, Texas, at the very least. Um, and Chicago, you're in Chicago. Like you might be working out at the Y, but like you in Chicago.
Mhm.
Um, but I guess it just depends on, I think it depends on how the CBA goes. Like, are there going to be things in the CBA that's like by such and such a year, you need to have this for your team or you get this penalty? Because if that is going to be the case, it probably won't be as bad. I also don't know what they're doing with Boston. Um, I feel like they keep hyping it up as this thing, like either it's going to be another expansion team or Connecticut is just going to move there, which I kind of don't want to move there because I feel like Connecticut does deserve their own team. Um, but yeah, if I was Connecticut, I am calling Chicago or Washington, seeing what them pigs talking about and for what. And like you said, if they young and you don't know no better, like you can come on this way, get some playing time, and we'll see what sticks. And by the time your contract is almost up, we'll more than likely have some things. So it's not like, I mean, if we, yeah, we'll probably have some things by the end of your contract. But yeah, with Bree Jones leaving, it's like if we're gonna stink, we might as well go ahead and at least see what diamonds in the rough we could probably find. Uh, or maybe we could be Minnesota and be the land of misfit toys, and then we just end up being like really good randomly. So I don't know. But yeah, that would be my thing. Natasha and Rebecca Allen, please do not unpack your suitcase because you will you will
I
be
ain't even
somebody
there yet.
you will be somewhere else. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, if especially Chicago, because like it's like um the Chicago thing is interesting because they have the pick. They have Connecticut's pick. So like you really need them to be bad. I mean, you don't. You can still get like a top like a they're not going to be bad enough where you get a lottery pick, but you also aren't like um you also aren't they also aren't going to be good enough to they just cheated the fuck out of them. I'm so sorry. They just cheated them so bad. Um, but Connecticut isn't gonna be like bad enough to get you a lottery pick. So like you might be better off taking the LA approach of just um letting Angel and Camilla develop with some solid vets around you and just move on.
So, speaking of speaking of Angel and Camilla and vets, the Chicago Sky have signed Courtney Vandersloot. How do y'all think this helps Angel and Camilla's development?
First, I do want to say, I did think the reports that people were like, Chicago getting Courtney Vandersloot means they weren't going to get a guard was very nasty because it's like, I understand Courtney Vandersloot is like one of the best WNBA guards ever, but also uh, Courtney Vandersloot is on the tail end of her career. And like, we can't, that's, if that Chicago's going to be really committed to that, I don't think that's fully setting them up for success. However, I think now, at least for this season and maybe potentially next season if she decides to play that long, like there's no better person in the league probably to like receive the ball from and like be as willing of a passer. Cause like Of course, Chelsea Gray is a fantastic passer, but she's also just as much willing of a scorer at the same time. But like, I feel like Vandersloot really just wants to go out there and pass. um, and for I think she could really. She's played with such fantastic bigs. Even if she's not necessarily a big herself, she can really teach them where to be. Like she's played with Candace Parker, Jonquil Jones, Brenda Stewart. Did she not play with Sylvie Fowles and EDD, or am I making that up? I feel like she at least played with EDD. Am I not? Am I wrong?
I, yes, yes.
But yeah, she's played with such fantastic bigs. Like she can tell them, all right, this if I give you this here, this is what you should do. Or if you get this block, this is the best thing for you to be able to take advantage of this situation. And I think she could really guide them in a way that even if they got like, let's say they get Olivia Miles. Olivia Miles is a wonderful passer and would be just as willing to get them the ball as much as possible, but she can't guide them in the same way that Courtney Vandersloot can. So I think this is that's a really great move for them, and I'm really glad it wasn't one of those moves that people were talking about getting rid of the third pick for. Like it's just like this, you needed this and that. This did not need to be
So
a one or the other situation.
so it's funny that you brought that up because the thing about the third pick that was reported, which is funny because um I do feel like there was a front office person feeding Annie this information. I don't think that was her basketball thoughts coming through in that article. I feel like
Oh
there was
no,
somebody.
I do
I
too.
feel like so this is so the, and the reason I say that is because there was what caught my eye in the articles where she made the point of Paige Beckers and Olivia Miles are expected to go 1 and 2, and then it said, and then the next, and also said those two are the only W ready prospects in a draft. And then it said the next two prospects are Kiki Iriafen and Dominique Malonga, and that Chicago wouldn't look to add them because those are post players. But what's funny about that to me is was Chicago's plan take Olivia Miles if she falls to three or give up? Because what was being insinuated there was that they would trade the third pick for a more established wing to put on the roster. But who do you go get if that's the case? And is Chicago in position to do that? Or should they be in position to do that? I think is a better way to ask it.
I think I think this is kind of like the incompetence of some of the W players, like the WGMs. Um, because Paige and Olivia are not the only like there's no way you can tell me that you don't think like Tahina Pow Pow is W ready. Like I get you small, but like what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Especially on a team where like y'all gave up y'all 3-point shooter and y'all looked crazy after that. So like even in your minds, you don't think that like that would be helpful. Sonya Centron is like it's just so that whole thing stupid. That's this is a very stupid thing to say. Um I don't really. It's like I get it because again to the LA thing where it's like okay, get you some solid vets around them and let them grow. But at the same token, like the vets that y'all currently have are Sloot, who is on her way out. You got an E Will who is coming off an injury. And but y'all planning to keep Mariah Jefferson, who y'all barely played last season, which Mariah Jefferson is a very solid guard, so that's not even really a slight to her. Um, but you doing all of this and you have a new coach. So like how good do you actually think you'll be? You know what I'm saying? You got a Michaela who could be and should be the wing that you invest in because she can do so much more than what you're giving credit for. And it's like, and this I think kind of goes back to another conversation we've had several times of like having a realistic outlook on what your team is going to look like because based on the pieces that you have and even the prospects that are available, you're not a contender. It's not happening. Make the playoffs, maybe, but you're not a contender. So it's okay if you like you're trying to you're trying to get these veteran players so that you could what be middle of the pack? So you can be a six seed? Like what do you actually gain from that? Especially when you're not getting you're not KP is what 30 maybe
That
Courtney
sounds all right to
Vandersloot is
me.
36. Okay. And is again, it's not shade because Courtney Vandersloot is great and I think she'll be really good for their development. But like, how long you think you're gonna have her? You know what I'm saying? She's not even somebody that's really gonna grow with you over the next like 4 years. Like we've seen Sloot's best basketball be with her coming off the bench on a championship team. So like let's be for real. Like what do you have to lose by keeping the third pick? Because what
Yeah, I
you
don't
trade
think,
her away and you get what you trade her away to who can you realistically trade the third pick away for, right?
and that's what I was trying to figure out. Like, I don't even know who they would target with that pick. Like, I'm trying to think of what wing would realistically be available.
Maybe a Benaja. Maybe you go
Yeah,
Dallas and maybe if the giving New York, I mean, but giving New York the third pick is stupid. That's stupid. I'm sorry. That's
that
malpractice.
could
You
not,
should be in
no, that could
prison
not
for
happen.
that. Actually.
Unfortunately, I would have to intervene at that point.
But okay, but if you can get in on the three-team trade and you can say, hey, Dallas, for anybody who doesn't know, the hypothetical is that Satu is getting traded to New York for Benaja in the seventh pick. Um, so maybe you get in on that. You say, well, you tell Dallas, we'll give you three if you give us Benaja. Like maybe, maybe that's something that Dallas bites on.
And then Dallas ends up with 1 and 3.
You getting Paige Beckers and Sonya Citron, bro? What? Look, I
What if
like it.
in this three-team scenario, the Chicago get Leonie Fibich?
How she wasn't even in the original in the rumors. I don't understand. I don't know.
Okay, then
I don't get it.
isn't Chicago who sent Leonie Fibich to New York?
Mm-hmm.
It would be
Mm-hmm.
they would fully be righting their wrongs from bad Toronto man. Um
Oh boy.
Yeah. They would.
If this WNBA trade machine could put 3 teams on it, I'm gonna make something nasty.
Listen,
So, I I don't have a whole lot of thoughts on the Sky move. I do think I take it back. I do love pairing a pass first point guard like Courtney Vandersloot with two developmental post players to just like Don was getting at, just to show them how to play within the flow of an offense.
how to be ready also. Full
Right,
pack.
because Courtney Vandersloot is going to have no issue running the offense, and like Don said, she gonna tell you where to be at. I think that'll be helpful for Chicago and Angel and Camilla's development. So, real quick, we got um, a re-signing. The Indiana Fever have given Kelsey Mitchell a 1-year supermax contract. Wonderful. No notes.
No notes. No notes.
I think that was that I feel like the whole offseason for the Fever kind of hinged on them bringing Kelsey Mitchell back. Like I know that the going into next year, people feel like having that core together with another year under their belt could make them like legitimate contenders to go deep in the playoffs. So I think bringing back Kelsey Mitchell had to be priority number one for Indiana, and they got that done.
No notes, man. Kelsey, thank you so much for doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? I would have supported you, sister, if you did the wrong thing, but I'm great. I'm very appreciative that you decided to do the right thing. We really needed you. You know what I'm saying? You played some of your best basketball in the year. And I think we could do a little more with that. I think there's some potential there. So like appreciate you, big dog.
So in another re-signing, well, technically re-signing, um, the Golden State Valkyries have signed or plan to sign their unrestricted free agent that they drafted, Mo'Nique Billings. They are keeping her around, which I was going to be very upset if they did not do that. Because why do you draft her as your unrestricted free agent if you don't plan to keep her? But they they decided to not give her the core deal and to just work out a deal with her, which I think
Hey,
They
we
kind of nice.
slandered them a lot
come
over the
on.
course
Like,
of the last couple weeks, so I'm glad they figured that out.
but what do y'all think they said to her? Like, hey girl,
Please.
we're not giving you 250K. We want you, but not for that much. Like, what did you what and she said, yeah. Like, I don't how does
They
that
was like they was like, listen, you gotta be for real. Like we want to be a competitive team. We want to be a competitive team. If you take less money, we will be able to bring in more help to make this team more competitive.
I think
Which
they're
is funny
doing the
because they
Aces
still like
method of paying
they
niggas on
it's
got like
funny
vacation.
because
$1 million. They could have paid that lady the max.
it's fun and honestly, I'm surprised they didn't. I'm surprised that they didn't. But they were able to talk her into it. So good for them. I mean, of course, maybe the contract deals will come out and it'll be like just under max, which would be funny. But who knows?
Man, that's
Now,
extremely funny.
now we have a trio of signings for one Atlanta basketball club that I would like to get into.
Talk your shit.
So the first one that was reported was they were saying that the Dream were going to sign Shatori Walker Kimbrough, which I was all for because I think what the Dream are going to be looking to do next season, and this is going to be interesting because Shatori Walker Kimbrough is a career 35% 3-point shooter, which I think is important. I expect the Dream to take a lot of threes this season.
I so this is a little tangent before you keep going. Why I wanted to watch Florida Gulf Coast highlights because I was like, let me see. Like I've watched them play, obviously, and they do take a lot of threes, but I was like, how are they able to do this? And when I say almost every highlight, there were four people standing on the 3-point line. And I'm not joking. Dead ass, like somebody on the corner, mid wing, somebody like right next to the top of the key, somebody on the other side, and the one girl um crashing to the, diving to the basket, kicking it out. Like half the plays were that. And I was like, this is damn near perfect for both Jordan Canada and Ryan Howard because this is how they both play basketball.
Right.
I have never seen a basketball court more spaced. And it was also more interesting because at least two of them was crashing the boards. So like if this really might work for Atlanta. But continue.
So I know how Shatori Walker Kimbrough fits into that calculus because she's a willing 3-point shooter. She took, I think, 3 threes a game last season, which was or close to 3 threes, which was career high number for her pounds of volume. And I think the Dream will be looking to use her in that way. So the next two signings kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. Now, I posted the clip on my Twitter from the Atlanta Dream season review episode where I said what free agent I wanted to sign. The first thing I said was we need a big. Actually, I said we need multiple bigs. And the Dream, to say the least, signed multiple bigs. So the Dream have reportedly agreed to deals with both Brittany Griner and Bree Jones, who was the free agent that I mentioned explicitly that I wanted for Atlanta. So I am intrigued because I want to know what the plan is for this offense. My expectation is for Bree and BG to be staggered a lot. Like I do think there will be occasional possessions where they're on the floor together. But I think more often than not, there's going to be BG on the floor or Bree on the floor. And I'm thinking because there's going to be probably a 4-out offense, and you have, let's say, you have Jordan Canada looking to drive and kick. And when she kicks it out to the corner, the big crashes because rebounding is going to be important for this team. I'm interested to see how they get used offensively when they're not seen as traditional floor spacers as a big. Like I watch a lot of something that I watch a lot when I watch the way teams operate is the teams that like to shoot a lot of threes, how they work in bigs who are not considered to be shooters, how they create space on the floor while they out there. So I wonder how much hub work do we see from BG and Bree? How much do we see them at the top of the key doing dribble handoffs?
A lot.
Like I
Well,
yeah.
the funny thing is, how much do we want to bet that BG is standing on 3-point line? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
as just actually, I'm gonna shoot the three right now. Like, I'm not crashing the boards. Nas, you got it, Bookie. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna stand over here. I got you from the corner. Honestly, I'm excited to see that because she is so unserious, and I just want to know if she's gonna commit to getting back on the boards. Like, the 6 rebounds you was doing, girl, is not enough. Like, this is not enough. We needed to do something else. Um, but I feel like BG will be really fun. Bree is the one I'm concerned about. Um, because she's a more traditional back to the basket. Um, and Bree's midi isn't bad either, but um I do wonder, like, when the going gets tough. Bree is kind of that player when the going gets tough. We got somebody down there, but I do wonder, like, how they will um implement her in terms of minutes. Because I mean, I feel like she'll probably. I don't really see them playing, like you said. I feel like they'll be staggered. I feel like Bree might be coming off the bench, which I don't think she'll really have a problem with. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it works with her because she also doesn't really put the ball on the floor. So, and I don't know if she's done a lot of, like, hub work. So, she's the, like, interesting. Like, does he shift things up just for her when she's on the floor? Like, let's run a little something more traditional and keep the pace when she's not. But I don't know. We'll see. But I do think it's I do think this puts Atlanta as a solid 4 seed right now. Like, in my mind, you have, and I think it's funny too because we just talked about how we were talking about how we thought if Leash could be a number 2 on a championship team, and I was like, well, it really depends on who you put around her because if you have above average role players, I think they can make something shake. And then you got both BG and Bree Jones, who, like, above average role players. Like, they're exactly like, I mean, I feel like I want to call them a little bit more than role players, but, like, it's very much perfect. And assuming Nas takes another leap, Shatori Kimbrough Walker, like,
Welcome back, 2004 Pistons.
I mean, if Haley and Latif, like, I don't know, like, what they gonna do, but I, I like the
So
vibe. I like the vibes.
so this is the thing. I saw somebody say, "Oh, the dream starting five is interesting," and they were saying that it would be like they were saying like the starters would be JC, Leash, Ryan, BG, and Bree, and I was like, no,
To do that.
like, no, that's not what's happening here. That's
Like,
not what's happening here.
no.
They will most likely not be playing together. It feels to me like there will be different looks, and I think something that I like the most about this is it kind of gives you an opportunity to throw out different looks defensively, especially because there might be some moments where you want to go small. You might want to run a lineup with Nas at the 5 or LA at the 5. Do you like there are some there's some I don't know what points the Dream are going to try to hit, but I think this gives them an opportunity to try out different combinations against different teams to see what works. To where you
Um,
can't be locked into a specific scheme.
my question for you, Jay, is uh y'all mentioned Haley Jones. It makes me wonder, like, if y'all are gonna really be emphasizing three-point shooting and spacing, and y'all are probably always gonna have a BG or Bree on the court at all times, at the very least one of them. Is like, do you think she lasts the whole season there? Or that they probably tried to move her for someone who can space the floor, and then someone may take like a flyer on her and just see like, okay, well, she might not fit Atlanta, but she's obviously good at basketball. Like,
Haley Jones.
yeah.
Okay.
So like maybe like the Valkyrie or Connecticut, for example. Like they just like, all right, well, I will send you a shooter for Haley Jones. And then they just let Haley Jones run amok and do what she wants.
I don't know.
The okay, I have two completely separate thoughts. Number one, if Haley Jones gets a fucking three-pointer, I will never stop talking. Y'all will never hit the end of me. Y'all will never hit the end of me. Okay. That's separate. That's thought one. Thought two, though. I think Haley Jones and Brianna Jones would play really well together. Um, yeah. And I feel like it could be really fun to see them on like a high-low kind of thing happening. Especially since I do think Haley's I think both of them play like around the rim really well. So I think they would be really fun together. I think they have to change the scheme. Obviously, it has to change a little bit for both of them. But I do think there is a way to have them both on the floor and still have um who else y'all will have out there? A Shatori or a Leash or whoever else like still on the three-point line. So I think it could work. It just would not be what you run with obviously a JC and BG kind of thing.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I would I want to see what they do with her first. Like I'm not ready to give up on her. I'm never giving up on Haley Jones. That's one. Um, I'm intrigued to see how she adds to her game and how these lineups get deployed. Because I think it could be interesting. Of course, I was intrigued by the offseason additions that we made last season, but this season, like we've done even more. So,
Do you think you guys keep AP?
hmm,
I kind of feel like you don't need her Agent of Chaos thing anymore, but like you can
I
obviously never go wrong, but
yeah, I would not be surprised if she doesn't come back.
that's fair.
Does that also mean Cheyenne Parker Thomas, you are a Las Vegas ace?
Oh, baby, she's
Cheyenne
out.
Parker, Cheyenne Parker Tyus
Nice.
is she probably I do think
Damn, I
she
sound
ends
like
up with the
ESPN.
I do think she ends up with the aces actually.
Good for
I
her,
think
because she's been through a lot lately.
I think she does. And even watching that episode back, preparing for this one, I like Cheyenne. I really do.
She
She
was
kind
good
of
before Tina came in and
yeah,
stole her
she
whole
kind
fucking
of
flow.
yeah, she kind of got a raw deal the last couple of seasons. But I really do like her. I like her skill set. It didn't really I don't know. And it's funny because she was an all-star too. Like even with all of that, she was still an all-star. But I think I think she signs with Vegas. I think Vegas needs to hurry up and sign a big while they're at it because the market appears to be drying up pretty quickly. So,
You know what though? I really want to know. February 1st needs to be here now because I need to know what would the Dream offer BG? Because like for the Aces to be trying to get her and they're on like a minimum, like I'm sure the Dream just like maybe did a little bit, but it's like you needed the money that bad that you wouldn't go to the like damn near defending champ. Like hold on, like what did the Dream give you that they just be like, yeah. I ain't gonna lie though, she probably was persuaded by the Ryan TikToks, but I'm like, what's T over there? Like let's see the numbers because suspicious, suspicious. Um, but yeah.
yes, yes, I love how aggressive the Dream have been in in the offseason so far. And I want to see how they fill the roster out and how the rotation shakes out. So yeah, I got some catching up to do to be on the level of y'all teams. So
Do you though? Because I feel like y'all just kind of jumped. I mean, last year I feel like was a little bit of an anomaly because y'all was really supposed to be a 4 seed. But like this year, y'all could really be a 4 seed. Like if y'all don't
I
actually
feel
be a
like
4 seed this year, maybe y'all should dissolve the franchise. Cause I don't know what's going on down there. Like I don't know what y'all got going on, but y'all. Mm-mm.
I feel like we've been penciling y'all as a 4 seed since we started this podcast.
oh,
And
I definitely had the Dream as a 4 seed last year, and then the season started and Jordan Canada was hurt, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what this finna be.
yeah, so
And
bearing
then
injury,
yeah,
y'all should be really good.
yeah. So I'm
Honestly,
hopeful again.
I'm more intrigued on who's gonna miss the playoffs than who's gonna make the playoffs because
Who are
I
your
mean we
who are your
always
hot
talk
takes
about
right
how
now? Who's gonna miss the playoffs right now? Who do you think?
all right,
The
Mystics,
Mystics,
you're out
the
of here, big
Sparks.
dog.
No, 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 no. I said the Sparks, but I had to think about that. Golden
The
State.
Mystics, the Sky, Golden State, and
You need two more.
I
Oh,
need two
it's
more.
5. It's 13
There's
now.
13 teams now.
Uh,
Mystic
Seattle's gonna implode by the end of the season
Connecticut.
is my hot take,
and
and Connecticut.
oh my, hold on. Let me write that down. Hold
Seattle
on.
missing the playoffs?
Hold on, because that's crazy. Hold on. Where's my pen?
I think they got leapfrogged by a good amount of teams.
Hold on, because
Because okay, so they were the 5th seed, and hold on, let me go.
because
Okay,
you could already state claim. Hold on.
look, so Seattle was the 5th seed.
Seattle.
Uh,
That's crazy. Sky.
Connecticut is gonna miss the playoffs now because
Who was your
they're
fifth?
whatever.
Seattle,
Huh?
Chicago, G or Golden State, Connecticut, and who?
Washington?
Washington. Okay.
So that means
Seattle was a hot take.
Yeah,
uh,
I'm surprised that you said Seattle, honestly.
the only other team I can see missing the playoffs is Dallas.
I'm not. Don't put that bad energy on my
And I
team.
don't want to put that. I don't want to put that in the air. So that's why I'm not.
I need to see. Hold
I
on.
gotta
I don't know who I think.
let's see.
Because
New
my thought
York.
is, you have again, Connecticut's gonna get worse, but then Indiana's gotten better, Phoenix has gotten better,
Has Indiana gotten better?
and
I mean,
Indiana
I
has
mean,
they
y'all are
playoffs. They
naturally,
Indiana
playoffs.
is
y'all
treading
are,
water. Indiana's
yeah,
treading water right now.
Yeah,
y'all are naturally gonna get better off of the progression of Caitlin and Aaliyah, and having another coach and another system and things of that nature. I mean, y'all might like struggle a little bit out the gate, but I feel like y'all hit y'all stride very like earlier than y'all did last year. Um, yeah, and I just think Dallas is gonna be. I think Dallas is gonna be good, or at least like better than advertised. So yeah, I can. If Seattle missed the playoffs, I could see it. If they make the playoffs, they're gonna be like 7 and 8.
that's wow. That's a hot take. That's a real hot take. Who do I think of? Who do you think, Jay? Who you got? Let's
I'm
see.
trying to think. So I am going. I can pencil in Connecticut, Washington, Golden State.
I'm crying. Those are three I already had penciled in too.
See,
It
because this is where it kind of
gets a little sticky.
yeah. Because I'm thinking of like because I don't want that. I don't want to put Dallas there. I think Dallas is a playoff team.
As the team is currently constructed, my two, I think, have to be Chicago and Phoenix.
Phoenix.
I don't believe in
I
them. I don't
I
believe in
feel
them.
I
I'm
feel
sorry.
like
But
Alyssa
18.
Thomas would die
I
before
don't
she
know.
misses the playoffs.
I,
Like die.
I believe that. But I just like they don't have no they have AT Ty Harris, Sophie Cunningham.
I think they got time to fill the. I think they got time to fill the rest of that out. But I think
that's
Alyssa
fair.
Thomas
That's
and
fair.
Ka are too good to miss the playoffs. Like, I mean, Ka was working with
They
60 year
almost
old.
missed it this year, and look who they had.
They were.
They they are so
She was
lucky.
working with 60-year-old Diana and a BG that didn't care.
They should have been fucking better. Okay,
They should have.
that's a them problem. That's a them problem. They barely made the. They are so fucking lucky that Kyle was playing like a fucking MVP for like the first 3 weeks, because or they
Yeah,
would have been
she.
cooked. They would have been
Yeah,
cooked.
Kyle was playing out of her mind. And see that I feel like AT and Kyle. I feel like
Because they technically they do get better defensively, right? They do get
yeah,
better
and I
defensively,
guess
but I don't
but
know.
I agree on Chicago. I can pencil in Chicago. So
I
that's
think if I have a hot take team, it's Phoenix doesn't make playoffs. That's my hot take team.
mine. It might be
My
it
low
might be
stakes.
Dallas. It might be
Ooh.
Dallas.
I'm ready to say my low stakes team was LA because
I
they
thought
gonna
about that,
they
that
might
was
stink. I'm not gonna lie. They might
that's
stink.
where I was so I was torn. I was torn between Dallas and LA for the fifth spot because I don't know.
Wait, did I not say LA was gonna miss the playoffs?
No, you
No,
said Seattle, Chicago, Golden State, Connecticut, and Washington. That's why.
Wait. All right, let's swap the Sparks with Seattle.
okay, so listen.
I thought I said them. I thought I said them. The Sparks are not making it. I'm sorry to tell you. This year is not. I'm sorry. Um,
Listen,
it,
I don't know though, because here's the thing. Like, it's hard for me to I feel like having decent guard play so much though. Like I know they were bad last year, but having decent guard play and having a healthy season from Cam with Rakia being empowered the way that she was empowered at the end of last year. So I'm torn. I'm torn between LA and Dallas for the 8-9,
He's
basically.
so nice. You know what I'm saying? He picked the teams who probably will stink. He didn't have a hot take. I don't
Well,
we'll allow it though.
then for the sake, I will stick with my hot take of Seattle missing the playoffs. Because
We
I
already
mean,
wrote that down. I was
yeah,
gonna make a graphic about that. Because that's insane. Yeah.
I don't know. I'll say Dallas.
I think honestly, for me, between LA and Dallas, it's gonna be whoever doesn't get Odyssey Sims is cooked. That's my cooked team, actually. So whoever she lands, y'all got it.
that's a great point, actually.
So yeah.
Yeah, we will have to revisit this once the off season continues and more moves get made.
Oh yeah, let me put the
But
date on this just so we know. Like
yeah,
it was kind of wild in that day. Right.
but are are all hearts and minds clear?
I believe so.
All right.
Well, this has been another episode of Pull Up 3. I am Paragon Don,
I'm Jamae.
And I'm Jay Track.
and we are out.
Okay. Get it.